What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And while, as y'all know, we are insanely close to Motorfest. Now, at the time of recording this video, I do believe it was September 5th. At the time of this video going up, though, this is going to be up on September 10th, which is a day before the early access of Motorfest. So, to say I'm insanely excited for this game is by far going to be an understatement. But my goodness, guys, we are basically a week away from this game. But I guess we can all say the hype is insanely real. But at the same time, though, I do feel like a lot of people might be unsure on this game, though. And if you were wondering, guys, if you did not get to play the beta, of course there is going to be a 5-hour free trial, which I have to give Ubisoft a lot of credit because, yes, you actually do get a chance to play this game even if you are unsure on this. And how many times do you actually see a developer doing this with a game? So, normally they do tend to give you like a tiny little like trailer, and then they basically give you screenshots and or small gameplay snippets, but they're not showing you if the game is actually completed and or fixed. And I do feel like Dakar Desert Rally is also going to be in this category, and I also feel like a lot of recent Need for Speed games also fall into this, so at least we actually have a chance to now jump into these games and try them out, and that way you really can decide if you actually do want to buy this. And if you do decide to buy the actual game itself, all of your progress is going to transfer over, so that's also going to be a pretty big plus. But moving over to some of the topics I did want to talk about on why I'm so excited for this game to release, though. So the first one, classes being removed, is going to be a good thing. So I'm sure a lot of players did see that the jet sprints and or the hovercrafts plus the helicopter is not going to be in Motorfest on release, and to be honest, I would probably say that's a good thing, and it's most likely not coming back in the future. Honestly, I hope they do not actually bring those vehicle classes back, even though they might have been fun in the crew too. I feel like a lot of players most likely did not use the jet sprint boats at all, and let's be honest, the hovercrafts are obviously not that fun to use, and I feel like a lot of players did not even max these classes out to begin with, so I really do see this as a huge win though, because I would say most of the players that actually use the jet sprint and or the hovercrafts in a summit most likely only use those for the summits for that matter and basically never ran them before, and once you actually maxed out one of those, you most likely never touch it again. So I really do feel like this is actually going to be awesome. Now, one thing I was seeing around is apparently some people are saying jet skis are going to be in the future. To be honest, I would probably say that's most likely not going to be a thing, and the main reason why I say that is they did remove the jet sprint boats for a reason. Most players probably did not want to use them. Now, if they did add jet skis to the game, you might actually have some fun with them, but a lot of people are most likely going to say, well, why didn't you guys add different cars instead? Which, to be honest, I can easily see that being a good argument and or a very well-deserved one. I personally would like to see a lot of awesome cars added, so if we did see some crazy jet skis added, the big question is, how would those actually last long-term with a lot of the player base? And I feel like a lot of people would probably be insanely mixed on them. I would like to know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Do you guys think a jet ski in Motorfest would work? I really feel like it would be insanely mixed, and most likely not for the better. Now, the next thing I did want to talk about is going to be a very important one. The driving physics and or the overall physics in Motorfest are by far so much better than the Crew 2. Now, I do know this was going to be a big concern for a lot of people, which really are going to be night and day compared to the Crew 2. Like, for example, guys, when I was playing the Motorfest beta for a while, I did mention in a previous video, I put like over 50 hours into it. So I guess you can say I really had a great time in the beta. Now, what's funny is if it did go on one more day, I most likely would have added that into 60 hours. I probably would have played the game for like 10 hours because I was insanely sucked into Motorfest. Like, I really do feel like when a lot of people jump in, guys, I think a lot of people really are going to like it. The overall driving physics in this game really are going to be so much better. Like using a Toyota Tacoma off-road then jumping into like a Supra was absolutely insane with how different they actually felt in different areas. So it really is going to be a crazy experience. Now, one car I also can't wait to drive. I actually did not get to use this car in the beta though because, well, I did not have enough money to actually buy this thing, but it's going to be the Bugatti Bolide. At least I think that's how you actually pronounce that car, but it's obviously going to be in the racing class, aka the touring car class from the Crew 2, and my goodness guys, that car was so much fun to drive, it was insane. Like, For one, it obviously gripped insanely well around every corner. It was also crazy fast for that matter, so I really can't wait to actually jump in and test out different cars, because every vehicle class really does handle differently in like a good way, so it really is going to make each vehicle class that much more fun to use, but also a better experience, at least compared to the Crew 2 before. I even noticed the power boats are also going to feel much better in the water. I will have to mess around with the planes a tad more often, but once the game releases though, I will definitely be jumping into every vehicle class to really test them out, and to obviously max out each one for that matter. But the next thing I wanted to talk about though is going to be the cars in Motorfest, from the new cars being in the game and or like the new vehicle sounds for that matter. So if you guys weren't a big fan of how the cars sounded in the Crew 2, do not worry, because Motorfest is not even going to be close on how detailed this actually is. You literally hear the turbo flutters on different cars like the Bugatti Divo, and you also hear it insanely high on something like the Mark IV Supra, so the overall engine sound and or detail in this game is going to be insane. Whether you're driving through like a tunnel and or going around like a rock face, you actually hear like the sound bouncing off those said surfaces, and I also noticed this driving through a city as well, so the engine sounds in this game are insane. I didn't actually get to drive like every single car from like the Crew 2, but I did manage to jump into a lot of them, and every single car I drove, I was legit amazed on how good they actually sounded. Like even the Porsche Carrera, like the car sounds in Motorfest are legitimately night and day compared to the Crew 2 in basically every single way. Like it's actually not even close how good the cars actually sound in Motorfest, and I really do feel like this is going to be a huge selling point for many players, and that way every car you actually jump into is going to sound different, and or it doesn't feel like the sound is going to be reused in some areas. And hearing a turbo flutter in a Bugatti is absolutely insane. You will also hear this in different vehicles like the Ford Bronco as well. Like you can actually tell it's an EcoBoost engine. And then if you jump into something like the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392, you can actually tell it's going to be a V8. So it really makes me so excited to play this game, guys. Like every car sounds amazing, and I really can't wait to test out different ones. Plus we also have the audio signatures, which is going to be like the Cruise version of like an actual engine swap. So I really can't wait to test out how that actually is going to work, and the different cars you can actually mix and or match with that. So that's going to be a really cool thing to have. But on the other side of that, of course, we do have great engine sounds in this game. We also have a lot of new cars I can't wait to actually use. So I did mention before, we get to use cars like the Toyota Tacoma. We also have the Mark IV and or the Mark V Supra, plus the new BMW M4. We also have the Bugatti Bolide as well, plus we have the Rubicon 392, and so much more is going to be in this game, guys, plus a lot of new cars being added over time. I really cannot wait to actually play this. Over 600 cars is insane. One of the other things I'm also excited for, guys, is not only is the map going to be smaller, which is going to be so much better in so many aspects, but there's legit going to be around 15 playlists on this game's release, which is actually insane. And if it does follow the suit of the beta with those 6 playlists that were active, each one had around 20 different challenges you could do. That's going to legit be around 300 challenges you can complete, which, by the way, most of them you can actually do solo. And then of course they will have some in there that will require a crew, but that's definitely not going to be a big deal because so many people will be on this, and I would probably guess that a lot of players are most likely going to be chasing these challenges anyway, so maybe getting them done is most likely going to be simple. We also have the new Grand Race and or like that Royale game mode, and of course the summits are also going to be returning with a lot of new rewards and or a lot of cars we can go after. Do keep in mind, by the way, guys, as I do know, most of the playlists are going to have cars as a reward, so that's even going to be more stuff you can go after. So I really cannot wait for this game. It's going to be incredible. I would like to know your thoughts in the comments below. What are you most excited for? I would probably say a lot of people are most likely going to say everything. including myself for that matter. But one thing I do want to mention, by the way, guys, stay tuned for a lot of Motorfest content. I'm planning on going over all of the new cars and or a lot of the features in the game, from a lot of the new part sets and or like handling for different cars. I'm also going to be doing top speed tests on every car in the future. I'm actually planning on going over most of the challenges in the playlist as well, going over the collectibles and or a lot of the challenges that do require you to drive a specific vehicle and or go to a specific location while driving that said car. So there really is going to be so much to do in this game, and I honestly cannot wait.